Cross stitch is probably my favorite stitch. It looks beautiful, but there is a problem. If you use wing dividers to mark your stitching line, you get a visible line down the piece of leather. In this video, I'll show you firstly the problem with using wing dividers. Then we'll look at this quick hack I developed to solve this problem, and we'll go through an example step by step. So cross stitch is a super popular stitch. It allows you to connect two ends of leather together really easily, and it also looks great. The cross stitch is great for so many different projects. Used for leather wraps, used for beer koozies, used for matchstick holders. Link in the description and up on the video now to go check out my matchstick holder. One of my favorite little projects to make out of scraps. Now typically we would use wing dividers to mark a permanent line on the leather to create our straight stitching line. But there is a problem. With saddle stitching, this line is usually hidden by the stitches themselves. With cross stitching, however, this line is visible. And while this isn't a huge problem, it doesn't look that professional, and I wanted to see if I could find a way to fix this. This permanent visible mark really depends on the type of leather you're using. On some leathers you can buff it out and it's really not noticeable, but on some pieces, particularly dyed leathers I've found, it's really noticeable. I'm not an expert, but I need to figure out a solution to this. So I'll show you the method that worked really well for me. Now my solution is marking the leather in a temporary rather than permanent way. Using masking tape for our stitching chisels is super simple, so let's look at this now. So first we want to cut and prep our leather as normal. You want to get your piece ready for stitching. And remember here, you want to burnish the edge before you do the stitching because the cross stitching will cover up that edge, but you want to see the nice burnished edge finish below. So I like to bevel and burnish first. If you've got any value out of this video, please like it. Please subscribe for more leatherworking hacks and DIYs. And drop a comment down below if you have any other cross-stitching hacks. So next, you want to measure your wing divider offset in the normal way before we use our wing dividers. And I typically would do about 1/8 of an inch for my offset. But as you'll be putting your chisels next to the tape, rather than down the center of the line, you want to add just a little bit more to this. You'll get the hang of it. Before we put the masking tape down onto the leather, disclaimer that you want to make sure you test this out on some scraps before you do it. I've never had this mark any of my leathers permanently. I've tried several different chrome and veg tans. With some leathers you get an initial mark, but you can buff this out. What I'd do is use a dampened cloth here. Heads up, this might affect your dyeing process. Thanks to one of my subscribers for pointing that out. If you're dyeing your leather after, this might not be the hack for you. So next we want to lay our tape down onto the leather. And you want to be really careful here to make sure you get it in a nice straight line. If your tape is not straight, your stitching holes will not be straight. You can mark a few small guide marks if you want with your wing dividers. Just make sure these are really light so you can buff them out later. Then as normal, we'll use our stitching chisels to just work down the edge of that tape in a nice straight line. Then we can remove our tape, buff out any marks that are there, and we have our piece ready for stitching. And that's it. So you've now got a really nice neat cross stitch, but without the wing divider line that permanently marks your piece of leather. To me, this looks much cleaner. It really emphasizes the cross stitching much more, and I think it just makes it look much more professional. If you like this video, you may enjoy one of my others. This channel is focused on helping beginners get into leathercraft and helping experts learn a new skill. Maybe check out one of my other videos up on the screen now or on my channel. Thanks, have a great day.